Olá! Para quem está começando a jornada no inglês, achar o caminho certo para melhorar a escuta, hum, pode parecer complicado, né?
Com tanta informação por aí,
Com certeza. Às vezes é informação demais e a pessoa nem sabe por onde começar.
exato. Então, a gente recebeu um material com umas dicas bem práticas, sabe? Focado justamente em quem está nesses primeiros passos.
Ah, que ótimo! Facilitar é sempre bom.
A ideia é essa, descomplicar e mostrar como avançar sem, tipo, tanto estresse. Que tal a gente dar uma olhada nessas ideias juntos?
Parece bom. Ver o que funciona.
E para já ir treinando, vamos seguir uma das dicas do próprio material e mudar para o inglês.
Let's switch to English now.
Good idea. Let's practice what we preach, right?
Okay, so the resources we looked at, they really zero in on making English listening less intimidating, and more effective, especially like for beginners.
Right. It seems the main thread is about being active, actually doing something, and sticking with it consistently.
Yeah, that consistency thing comes up a lot. It's not just about having English playing in the background.
Exactly. The material really stresses that real understanding, it comes from engaging with the language actively, bit by bit.
So the first big step they talk about is preparation. Sounds a bit formal, maybe?
A little, but they break it down well. It's basically set a goal you can actually reach, make a simple plan for how you'll practice, and then keep an eye on how you're doing.
Makes sense. And about the goals, they got to be realistic, right?
Totally. The sources really warn against that pressure to understand every single word right from the start. That just leads to frustration.
Yeah, I can see that.
Instead, they suggest focusing on smaller things, like getting comfortable with specific common verbs. The example was can and could.
Little victories.
Right, small wins.
Okay, and the plan, how does that fit in?
Well, the plan needs to match how the person learns best. Are they visual? Do they prefer just listening? Maybe stories work for them.
So tailor it to the individual.
Exactly. They gave a sample schedule using a podcast. Like first day, listen slowly, maybe peek at a transcript if there is one.
Okay.
Then next time, listen again, normal speed, no transcript. And after that, maybe try to quickly summarize it. The key thing mentioned was doing it regularly, consistently.
Consistency again. And tracking progress. Why is that important according to the material?
It's basically to check if the plan is actually working for you. It doesn't need to be super detailed, just noting down what you practiced, maybe a quick rating of how much you understood.
Like 1 to 5 or something?
Yeah. Or even just, okay, good, difficult.
And maybe list a few new words you picked up. It helps you see what's effective and maybe adjust things. Simple tools work fine. A notebook, phone notes.
Got it. Now, there was a point the material really seemed to emphasize, the difference between active and passive listening.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial. Passive is just hearing sounds, background noise almost. But active listening, that's when your brain is really switched on, trying to process and understand.
And for learning English, the message was clear. Active listening is the way to go.
Absolutely. And they gave practical ways to practice it too. Taking notes was one big suggestion.
But not like writing everything down word for word, right? No. More like summarizing the main points or jotting down key phrases, maybe questions you have. It forces your brain to engage more deeply than just listening.
Okay, processing it. Asking questions too, though, even just in your head.
Yes, that's part of it. Questioning the content, wondering about meanings, it keeps you engaged.
Another tip that sounded really practical, especially for beginners, was trying to actually talk to people.
Right. Having conversations, even short, simple ones with native speakers or just anyone who speaks English well. Apparently, it helps a lot.
They even mentioned it can boost your mood, make practice feel less like a chore.
Yeah, and that feeling a bit nervous is actually okay, maybe even helpful. It can sharpen your focus.
Interesting.
And resources. What did the material suggest?
Well, podcasts, naturally, are great. Lots of topics, different accents, huge variety.
True.
And movies, TV shows, they add the visual context, super helpful when you're starting out, makes things clearer. Plus, you get cultural bits like understanding humor or common sayings.
Yeah, the cultural aspect is often overlooked. The sources also mentioned specific techniques, didn't they? Like for vocabulary.
Uh-huh. Learning vocabulary and idioms using methods that suit you. Flashcards came up. Quizlet was mentioned as a tool for digital ones.
Oh, Quizlet's pretty popular.
Or even using song lyrics, combining listening and reading that way. Find what clicks for you.
Makes sense. And wasn't there a specific step-by-step method using audio and text?
Yes, a very practical 5-step thing. It seems quite manageable. First, just listen. No text. See what you get.
Okay, baseline check.
Second, listen again. This time, try taking brief notes, main ideas, maybe words you catch.
Getting more active? Third, now you read the text or transcript. Look up words you don't know. Clear up any confusion from listening.
The clarification step.
Fourth, listen while reading along with the text, connecting sounds to words.
Reinforcement.
And fifth, the final listen. No text again. The idea is to notice how much more you understand compared to that very first listen.
Seeing the improvement. That sounds like a solid routine.
Yeah, quite structured.
So if we wrap this up based on the material, it seems like preparation goals, plan, plus really focusing on active listening,
Exato.
trying to have simple conversations, choosing good resources like podcasts or shows,
Exato.
and using specific methods, like that 5-step process or flashcards. Those are the core things. It boils down to practice, but like quality, engaged practice.
Exacto. Quality over just quantity, maybe? And perhaps something to think about further, building on this. As someone gets consistent with this active listening,
Uh-huh.
how might that not just boost their understanding, but also kind of naturally feed into their speaking ability? As they absorb sentence structures, vocabulary, maybe more deeply than they realize. Just a thought.